I'm just gonna be honest, I don't really think that gacha stories are all that good. Straight up, like, I've read a bunch. People always like to hype up every story. They're like, dude, this is the greatest, that was such a good patch. I read it and I go, what? I bet some of those stories you were reading earlier about smut or something have way more in-depth stories than some of these. I'm gonna be real. I bet you can agree that too. Like,
Welcome back, Gacha Tourist. Today, we are here with a guest you guys may have seen when it comes down to Rubee and a bunch of other games. He's super knowledgeable in a lot of gachas, and on top of that, he is very cultured. So cultured that our first conversation is about an NTR game.
true. Great to
Yeah,
be
hi,
here.
Yo, so what you been up to, Jenaz? What kind of games you been playing?
Oh man, I've been streaming an insane amount. Just non-stop streaming, mostly Wuthering Waves after the 2.0 update. Other than that, I haven't really done much else. Before the 2.0 update, I felt like I was pretty bored. Not much going on, just playing, you know, the gacha rotation. A little mixture of NIKKE, Girls Frontline 2, Wuthering Waves, Orisries, that kind of stuff. Once Woo 2.0 came out, I was pretty much just spamming that.
Well, before 2.0 Woo, you played a lot of games. How long have you played NIKKE for?
Oh god, I was playing that game at launch, and that game was an absolute mess. It had one of the worst launches I've ever seen in my life. I think like 80% of the character's abilities just didn't work. It was insane. But I for a bit, and then I dropped it because it was a total pain to do dailies. I was just like, I'm not that interested anymore. But then I got like a sponsor, I think, to play it again during its half anniversary recently. I played it and was like, you know what? I like this game. This is a good game. I like this again. So then I kind of just been playing it all the time now, and I like the game a lot.
I just remember it came out on like November, right? Because I was like, oh, no, not November. But then, wow, this game that has ass and boobs in your face is coming out in November. So I played a little bit at launch and then played again during like a subathon for fun. Cinderella's release was when I had came back for it. And then now I just play here and there. And every time I see you play, I'm like reminded. I'm like, oh, I need to play NIKKE again.
I'm a fan. I like the game. They've treated me pretty well. Like, I don't know. I've gotten some good sponsors with them, but I actually genuinely like the game. I'm the #1 NIKKE shill is what I always say. I always recommend people to the game, and I just have fun. It's a nice casual game. Like, you don't really have to do anything crazy. It's not trying to be anything else.
Were you in it for the gameplay or like the lore?
Honestly, kind of neither in a way. I just like the feeling of progression and getting a bunch of the different characters. I just kind of have fun with that sort of thing. It's just nice seeing the numbers slowly go up and getting characters that you enjoy.
Dude, I feel like the NIKKE rates, the only reason why I like to play so much, because whenever I do like a 10 pull and then you see a doubles, like the rates to get an SSR is high.
Wow, you're getting doubles, huh? Yeah, that ain't happening here.
Yo,
I am getting screwed.
Wait, no, seriously? What was your best pull in NIKKE? Oh my god, I'm gonna have a bragging moment.
Okay, I mean, I think I got like 2 pilgrims and a non-pilgrim in it, and the banner character, I think.
So anyways, with me, I had 5 SSRs and 3 of them were pilgrims.
Oh, that's nice. By the way, this is what I got. Oh, wow, that's really cute. Wow, that's a really good tenfold that you got there, little guy.
I had to flex. That is my, like, I had peaked moment. And one of those, like, memes where it's like, oh, they peaked at high school. Yeah, I know. I peaked in NIKKE.
It's all downhill from there.
Yes, it was like 2 Scarlet Black Shadow, normal Scarlet, the Rapunzel crown. I got someone and then Freema.
Doesn't even remember what she gets. It's just so one of the mill.
Dude, have you ever max limit or break a character in 20
course 7?
2 10 pulls?
Oh, in 2 10 pulls? Hell no. Was that you with Scarlet Black Shadow?
No, that was me with 2B, like the near collab.
That's insane.
So I call it the clueless buff because whenever I'm clueless in any game and I do a pull, I end up getting like the Pilgrim, the 5-star, or like a double. I had taken a break from NIKKE, and when the 2B collab came in, my chat was like, oh, can you do pulls for me? And there was someone with exactly 20 pulls in a dream. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't really know the race. And I did the pulls, I got a double. And then I did the second pull and I got another double. And then I like didn't understand what was going on, but chat was freaking out. And so I call it like the clueless buff.
That's insane. Have you ever heard of Desire Sensor? Ever heard about that? It's like a
No,
term that you would always hear in Fate Grand Order. It's basically the more you care, the game knows that, and it won't give you anything. But if you don't care at all, it senses no desire, and it'll give you whatever it is.
wait, that's actually, I feel like that happens a lot with Hoyo games. A lot of
Yeah.
people are always like, oh yeah, I was building pity, but then this person came
Yep.
home
Whenever
and I
you
didn't
don't
want
care.
this person.
It's whenever you never care about something, the craziest things happen. But whenever you really want something, it's just double pity. It's the worst possible scenario.
Wait, oh my god, yeah, I remember I was like saying how I was gonna quit a game, right? I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna quit this game. Like, I'm not getting lucky. Next thing you know, I was getting golds and like good like
Mm-hmm.
substat rolls and stuff. I was
It
like,
knows.
what is going on?
And when you come back to a game, they start being really nice or something. Or when you're about to quit, you're like, I'm done. This game sucks. That's it. I'm going to use the rest of my pulls. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, that's literally me with Throne of Liberty. I used up all my resources. I was draining the account because I was like, oh, I'm gonna quit. Next thing you know, I do like a guild raid boss, and then I get the item that I've always wanted. And I was like, bro, are you serious?
oh, you actually did end up quitting, huh?
I did, yeah. Jenaz, so like, what is like your first ever like gacha game? What brought you into this space?
Yeah, I got a mini story. So basically, I'm a huge Fate fan. I like the series a bunch. And so I watched the Heaven's Feel movie with a couple of friends at a theater. And I went, you know what? I am going to play this game. I'm going to play Fate Grand Order because it was around Christmas time, New Year's, and they were releasing this really cool character called First Hassan. He's like this really cool looking guy. And I thought, I'll try the game. And I grinded the hell out of that game. Like 2 years or something, just nonstop, because I pulled on that guy's banner and I got the wrong character. Because that game, it doesn't have 50-50. It has like at that time it was 0.7% to gain the character you want, and then 0.3 of a random one. I got Saber, Saber, if you've seen what they look like. I got her.
I always hear about
Yeah,
Saber.
she's
Saber's
popular. She's a big character.
Yeah.
I don't even like her. I didn't even want her. So I was pissed. But then I did another 10 point. I got First Hassan. I was like, oh, this is so sick. And well, it's all been downhill from there. Let's just put it that way. And now I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, no, not only that, you play cultured gacha games now.
True.
You
Like
have
one,
community.
but I play a lot of niche gacha games. It's like I've tried a lot of random things out.
What would you say is like a hidden gem of one of the niche gacha games that you would recommend? People know like Hoyo and Kuro and like Fate, NIKKE, like 10-cent games, but then like what is like a hole in the wall, a hidden gem?
Okay, I'm like the #1 shill for this game. I've been like selling this game since its release. But it's this game called Wizardry Variants Daphne. Weirdest name I've ever seen. But basically, it's like an old school dungeon crawler game. Do you know what those are like? Where it's like first person, like you walk through a dungeon, like go one step, you turn, that kind of thing. Like really old school. And I didn't even know anything about the series. Apparently the Wizardry series is the first JRPG ever made in like the 80s or something, and inspired every other JRPG ever made. They basically made this game. They got all this all-star staff, some guy who worked on like the Final Fantasy music, like one of the head guys. They got like the character designer from Fire Emblem. They have like director from some other, like this all-star cast. Then they got money from the government and they made this game. They got like a funding from the government for this game because apparently the Wizardry series is like, I don't know, so renowned in Japan that like even the government wants in or something, wants to promote it for their culture or something. And so they make this game, and it's a gacha hardcore game, like really hard. Like, when we play gacha games, everything's like really simple and easy, kind of holds your hand. This game, it just punishes the hell out of you. You just go somewhere, you just get whooped. Like, you gotta learn the game.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like if you could provide me an example, because like turn-based is like one thing, but then is it like combat, like a hack and slash type?
Yeah, I guess I didn't even talk about the gameplay. It's like you have a party of 6 people, so 3 people in the front, 3 people in the back. It's turn-based, so think like Honkai Star Rail or something like that, but with, a front and back line. So the people in the back line have ranged weapons or like a spear, and the front people, they take most of the hits and they're melee. I mean, you fight monsters, you encounter them. Everyone has different skills, spells, etc. Everything's a resource. Also, the cool part, it has a permadeath mechanic. You can lose your characters forever. You could spend $100, pull your favorite waifu, and she's gone forever.
Wait, oh my god, that's like D&D then.
Yes,
like
it's
Baldur's
all
Gate.
D&D. The whole game is based on like D&D everything. Everything is D&D related in it. So you have, you know, like fighter, knight, ninja, like all these different classes, that kind of stuff. I actually love the game. I think it's incredible. It's the only Japanese gacha game that I actually think is good.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah,
how's
it's-
the no, continue.
Oh no, you go, you go.
Oh no, I was gonna ask how the gacha rates are. In
So the
this.
gacha rates, it's 5% for an SSR character, but they don't give you a lot of pulls. So like, you know, it's a little give and take, I guess, there. And it's really easy to not lose your characters forever. Like people always see this permadeath and they're like, oh, no way I'm playing that. But the thing is, the game doesn't have an energy system. So what it has instead, it has like a fortitude system where each character has a like little heart fortitude thing.
Oh,
When
yeah.
they die, they lose fortitude, but it regenerates over time. So if you try to revive your dead character and their fortitude is too low, they can turn into dust and die forever. Basically, the energy mechanic is when your fortitude's too low, you're like, okay, I'm kind of done for right now. I'm going to wait until it regenerates. And if someone dies, you just wait until their fortitude gets high enough while they're dead, and then you revive them. So it's easy to avoid, but that's the energy mechanic, is like the better you play, the less fortitude you lose. So you could just play forever, really.
Oh, dude, that's like a test of skill issue, literally.
Kinda, yeah. The whole game is basically like knowledge and skill issue in a way.
Have you ever played D&D?
I've played like a little bit, yeah.
So have you done like a full campaign?
No, I've not done a full campaign at all.
Oh, okay. Or like participated in a campaign like long enough to see like some progress in like
Really,
characters?
honestly, unless you count a game like Divinity Original Sin as basically a D&D campaign.
So when you mentioned like the permadeath, because
Mhm.
I'm in a D&D campaign, right? And I actually had a character like perma-die. And in my mind, I was like, man, this is not like Baldur's Gate or like a gacha game where you
Yeah.
can revive a character. Because now I have to make another character,
Yeah.
a new character, new lore. And I was like, I was treating my character like, it was like a gamble, literally. Because in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, I could just save scum. But then like in a D&D campaign, you can't do that, you know?
Yeah, it'll always
So
be
I was
fine,
like-
and then, oh.
Yeah, exactly. In my mind, I was like, oh, it'll be fine. I got this. I'll survive. And then I crit fail. Okay, never mind. I'm dead. So aside from that, is there another game? Like a hole in a wall?
Hole in a wall game that people don't really know about that's good? I guess there's the hentai gacha game. That game's aight.
That was like the first thing we had talked about.
Yeah,
and
true.
No,
Well, because
it-
you know why? Because people said that you're like a degenerate and you're into that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, it would be funny to bring up then, right?
It was so funny because I feel like when you first meet other creators, you want to like set a good impression, you know?
I heard you
like
play
hentai
like
game.
hentai gachas. I heard you play
Wait,
hentai
oh my
games.
gosh, that's so funny. Okay, wait, so like, you play like actual like cultured games?
Oh, actual hentai games? No, I don't.
No?
Maybe when I was like 13 on Newgrounds or something, but no, not,
No,
not,
not
no.
for like and giggles. What if like it's a community sub goal?
Nah, I haven't done anything like that really. I mean, it's not like I hate them or I'm against them. I just don't really do that.
Do you read cultured stuff and then like share with your chat?
Not really. There was like this one time, but no, not really.
Dang.
I've had people in my chat talk about like pornhuas and stuff like that, like Korean pornhua.
Are you ever like interested in about like the plot or what they're talking about and like you ask like, oh, what happens in this?
Not really. If I'm interested, I just look it up myself, pretty much.
Oh, dang. I would have never guessed that because, like, when we had first talked about the NTR Gacha game, I was so convinced. I was like, oh my god, this guy is like
A
cultured.
complete
cultured.
degenerate, like. No,
Complete
like.
degenerate.
No, not really. I mean, like, I read a lot of light novels and other stuff like that, but not really like degenerate ones most of the time. So
I think over time, as like a VTuber, like if you see me how I first started off streaming, I was super like
wholesome,
say
and
family.
yeah,
Yes.
classic.
Yeah, but then
everybody starts with like an act, trying to be someone they're not, or they're nervous or whatever,
Wait,
and then they all
no.
start being their true selves. That's usually what happens with all these
no,
VTubers.
stop. I was corrupted by chat actually.
Oh
I had
yeah,
a-
okay.
Yep. No,
Tags,
I-
corruption, blackmail. Yeah, what is
no.
it like? What is the
Oh
mind
my
rape?
god, no. I started off as a YouTube streamer and then that's when I had like community members
Oh.
and I modded one of them. That guy, he like taught me Rule 34. He mentioned it in chat. There's another website called like Joburu.
Yeah,
another one.
Gelburu or Dauburu or whatever those things are. Wait, you didn't know about any of these?
No. Oh my
Didn't
god.
even.
I had this conversation with my chat like last week, but no one believes me when I say that they taught me who Johnny Sins was. Can you
Wait,
believe
so
that?
are you telling me you're like some pure, kind-hearted girl? Like, oh, I don't know anything about these weird things, and then you got on the internet and got completely corrupted?
I was more of the type to read fan fictions. Like I was all about smut, okay? And
Mm,
I guess maybe hentai like one shot stuff, you know.
mm.
Nothing crazy with the overworld, but then like when I started stream, like Rule 34 was a weird concept to me. I never understood that. And then yeah, pretty much I was pure and wholesome, man.
Wow.
I had my moments with fan fiction, but then like on stream they kept joking about this guy who's so talented. You know, he's a plumber, a lawyer,
Yeah, he's an
their
astronaut. He's
mailman.
done it all. Like everyone loves this guy. He's just
Yes,
so good at everything.
and I thought he was actually like a famous celebrity like figure
Oh, he's
who's like
famous.
super inspirational. And so I googled it on stream. Luckily, I wasn't screen sharing, and it shows up like American like porn actor, porn star, and I was like, oh my goodness, I felt like my life was a lie.
Good old Johnny.
Yeah, I think like over time I became like comfortable. You know, it's like curiosity. I think because you had mentioned like the degenerate stuff first, I feel like it's easier to like open up about it to you
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah. Normally, if you're in my streams or you're talking to me, I would never talk about like tags and stuff. You know, I keep it to myself for the most part. I think.
I figured it'd be pretty chill. I don't know. I'd seen your stream before. You kind of act like I don't know, a bit of like a dude bro kind of person. You know what I mean? So I was like,
Oh.
and she plays a bunch of these hentai games things. Like, it's probably fine. You know?
Okay, well, you know what? I played these games because of chat. You know,
Oh
they
yeah,
wanted...
they forced me. There's nothing I can do.
They-
Please help. Please, someone.
Oh, I'm so for Valentine's Day. I remember I had like a stream, not on Twitch, on a different website where I
What,
played like
and, like,
work massage.
What, did you stream on like Pornhub or something?
No.
Kick?
Oh, you know what? I did an experiment on Kick once. It was like when Kick had just released. Have you ever streamed on Kick, by the way?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I tested out anime. I was streaming anime, but it wasn't just anime. It was
Hentai?
it was no, it was the dog anime, the
Inukai-san's dog? Yeah.
Yes, that's not hentai, right?
No, but it's like worse. That would be
I never got far. I got like episode 1.5 maybe.
I haven't watched
And
it.
oh my god, I feel like this I'm reaching like scary territory. But chat, like one thing they point out about that. Wait, what do you know about that anime? Just saying.
I mean, this guy like turns into a dog and it's really weird and the girl's kind of into the dog and like it's like really weird and nobody likes it. That's pretty much what I know.
Okay, so yeah, no, that's what chat had said. It's almost like borderline like bestiality. But then the thing was, I don't know if I have seen worse, but in the first episode, so he turns to a dog, but this girl, she wants to bathe with the dog, you know? And like
Yeah.
I feel like people take bath and showers with their pets.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. And then the dog was peeing and she like, oh, like baby's first pee on the pole. She was taking pictures. So in my mind, I was kind of like, oh wow. Oh, you know what? There was one part, but I cannot remember what it
Blocked it
was. Huh?
You blocked it out?
But yeah, episode 1, at least for me, wasn't as bad as the way chat made it out to be. You know, maybe because they like, maybe not hyping it up, but they kind of like set a high expectation for me to be like, oh, what the moment. But then like nothing crazy.
It wasn't even that weird. Yeah.
Yeah, but then see, but I feel like I'm weird for saying that. So anyways, yeah.
No, I like, I'm so desensitized to most of that kind of stuff. It's like when you've seen enough anime kind of things and all this other stuff, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's weird, but it's like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe this happened, I'm shocked. That just doesn't really happen too often.
I feel like I would be shocked if it's something that I have like no foreshadow, like something I did not expect. So for example, like Goblin Slayer, I did not expect that, and I was shocked.
Do you ever watch Made in Abyss?
Yeah,
'Cause that is some
was
like kind
also
of shocking thing. Yeah.
I was also shocked because I just like, I feel like with Made in Abyss, people usually say like, oh, it's with kids, which is true. But then like I just didn't know what they were exactly talking about, and yeah, there were some shocking scenes.
Yeah.
Did you like the anime though in general?
Oh, I
think
love
has
it.
a really good...
I think it's one of my favorite shows. It's completely messed up, but it's, I don't know, it's really interesting. The world and characters and stuff I think are really good. Just because I like something doesn't mean I agree with like everything that happens in something, you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah. No, I think the dystopian and how they portray the story, like the storytelling is good. So I will agree with you. Yeah.
I mean, you
Uh,
were streaming like orc massage on Chatterbait or
what?
something. I
What?
mean, I don't know. Like,
That was New Year, new me.
oh
It's
wow.
a new Lunar New Year's was a few days ago. So I'm a reformed person.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally different now. You're one way, and now it's just all you're the snake.
Oh my god. Exactly. Speaking of anime, what's your favorite types of anime like genre?
I don't really have a favorite genre. My favorite anime, okay, number one, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite, but I usually just say it. It's like Steins Gate. Then number two is like Monogatari series. Then number three is like Made in Abyss or something. And I don't know, somewhere down the line, we have stuff like Attack on Titan, Frieren, I don't know, Vinland Saga, a bunch of stuff like that.
Oh, so like kind of like shonen. That
Oh,
you
it's more like
mentioned when.
seinen kind of, I guess, but
Oh yeah. Because I feel like every time I mention like shonen, chat would suggest Steins Gate and
that,
like Vinland Saga and stuff. So I kind of like I guess
what?
combine those two.
I mean, that's a little bit weird just because
Oh,
shonen, it's literally like boys pretty much, like younger boys normally. So it's normally something like, I don't know, My Hero Academia or
oh,
Naruto, or I
like
think Attack on Titan also counts, but like that type of stuff. But usually I'm not as into those. What's your favorites?
my favorites. Oh, I always say Parasite.
I like
I feel
Parasite a
like
bunch. That was good.
yeah, Parasite. So I say shonen because I think we start off from like talking about certain animes, obviously like shonen, Demon Slayer, etc. Then we go down the genres, and so that's how like Steins Gate and stuff is brought up. I know my chat suggested 86.
86, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I haven't
Wait,
watched
how
it.
do
I know
is
everyone
it
likes it. It's
86?
86. Yeah.
Okay, I just had to be sure. I wasn't so sure.
Yeah, I never actually watched it, even though I know it's good and I'd probably like it, but I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I was like, it all stems though from Berserk. Like, we'll talk about Berserk because I read
Mm,
Berserk. Have you read it?
yeah, it's
Oh, all of it?
pretty great.
Or like,
Well, I read until the author died, and then I haven't read anything that they added on.
oh, '07. I heard that the author left like a bunch of notes, so they can continue the plot that he had like envisioned.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, at this point, I'm just convinced all these authors are just, you know how they go on these hiatuses and never show up, and then they eventually just pass away. Like, I think this is gonna happen to Berserk. It did. I think it's gonna happen to Hunter x Hunter. It might even happen to One Piece. I don't know. I think they're afraid of ending their series because if the ending isn't good enough, it like tarnishes the whole story. I don't know. Like, look at George R. R. Martin. He refuses to write another book. Bro's been stalling for like a decade or something at this point.
It reminds me of like Oshinoko when they had ended and people were not happy
Oh
with how it
man,
ended.
it was bad. It was a bad end. It did not make any sense to me.
I did not finish the anime, but I don't
Mm.
plan on reading the manga, so I'm like curious. But then it's like spoilers for those who are still
Yeah,
reading.
I don't want to spoil it. I think it's a terrible end.
Ayo, tell me after this recording.
Sure.
I feel like a lot of stuff, if I know I'm not gonna watch it or read it, like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm curious.
I do
So,
that too. Yeah, I get curious and I'm like, oh, well, what is it?
for like Jujutsu Kaisen, I have seen a lot of spoilers, but I haven't like looked into it because I still want to like read and watch it.
Yeah, for me, spoilers don't matter that much for me. Like I don't want to be spoiled, but if I get spoiled, I'm like, oh, I wonder how it gets to that, rather than oh, now I don't even want to see anything. Like I'm still curious what's going on.
I saw in your bio, Jenaz, you're known for like a lot of gacha games and also hot anime takes. So what is like one hot anime take?
I have too many people hate my anime takes. They hate them
Really?
so much. Oh yeah, like I make everybody mad pretty much.
What is like your most hated hot take?
The most hated probably out of like all of them, because it's such a loved show by everybody, is that I don't
Nuclear drama. I'm
yeah,
kidding,
I'm
sorry.
about to start some, I don't think Hunter x Hunter is that good. I think it's like it's okay. I think that's pretty much how I feel about it, and people do not like that. They do not like hearing that one bit.
I've never watched it, so I have no idea.
Here's another one. One Piece is okay. People don't like that one either. Like, so with those two, I just made 90% of people listening basically not like anything I say.
Wait, but you gotta back it up, Like, why do you think Hunter x Hunter isn't good? Or, like, why do you think One Piece is okay?
Well, here's an example of One Piece. I think that people ignore all of the filler and just useless crap that happens in it and only remember the cool hype moments. Like, think about it this way. Like, how are there 1,000 episodes or even thousands of chapters to tell such a simple story? Like, there's really not much happens. Like, honestly, when you really break it down, most of the stuff going on, it gets really extended super hard. And the things that happen I don't really care. I don't feel super attached to the characters. The world's
Oh, I
cool
was
and the
like,
powers are cool, but it's like I don't really like Luffy at all, honestly. They should
oh
scrap and
my
make
god.
Zoro the crew lead, honestly. He's the coolest one. I'm gonna be real.
There's like lower character attachment, you know, you have backstory, so you grow with these characters, you know.
Hmm.
We learn about Luffy and his past.
I mean, there's stories that I've watched like 12 episodes and been like, wow, that was better than the whole 1,000 episodes of One Piece. Pretty much. Like, I don't know. There's nothing that's compelling for me in One Piece personally. There's been really good moments. There's stuff that I think are great, but then there's all the other stuff, and I'm like, I just don't care.
How many episodes of One Piece have you watched?
Well, I was mostly reading the manga because, okay,
Oh, okay.
now this is something a lot of people can agree on. The anime kind of sucks compared to the manga. They'll take one episode and they'll do one chapter of the manga, which is like 18 pages. So they have to stretch out so much filler. It's just a waste of time. Like, everyone should read it, in my opinion. But I got all the way up through halfway through Egghead Island, which is after
I
Wano. If you
Oh.
know Wano, it's almost current, basically.
I was like, I did not get that far. I only watched up to the point where I guess we learned a little bit more about Nami. That's about it.
Oh
So
man,
definitely not far. Like literally, if I watch the live action, if they make a second season, I would be caught up with the anime just because I'm so like in the beginning. But I know like my friend loves One Piece. Like she is obsessed with One
I
Piece.
just don't get
So I
it.
was like,
I don't get why everyone loves it so much. Like I've read it, I've watched a lot of it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
yeah. I mean, at least you like consume the content enough to like.
Yeah, I
judge, 'cause
hate
feel
read
like-
it.
Yeah.
No, I don't actually hate it though. It's just I don't really understand why people think it's so good compared to other stuff is all.
That was me with Berserk at first. It was like a few chapters, and then like it just made sense. And then I binged it. 'Cause at first I was kind of like, man, this is like so like gory, you know, like I can't take it, like I can't handle it. But then after like when you find out about certain things, it's like okay, now it's getting like really good.
It's really
So, yeah.
visceral. Yeah. It's definitely manga from like that time period was a lot more, I guess, real, you could say, in a way. Like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure around that time, kind of Dorohedoro. These are all these series that are like really gritty.
Oh, what was your first anime?
God, it was probably when I was a little kid and I watched something like Naruto and Toonami or One Piece on 4Kids. I mean, if we include Pokemon, it's probably something like that or Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
It was something
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so like same, but then you just happen to like consume a lot more anime than I did.
Well, my brother,
Uh,
like, he kind of liked anime, so I got into it a
Oh.
lot more too.
I think I was the only one in my family who watched like anime really. Anyways, we talked a lot about anime. There's one question I've been meaning to ask you. Why do they call you the UI guy?
Oh. I mean, basically, so I played Zenless Zone Zero. I was talking about things that I didn't really like about the game when I was playing it. And one of them was I thought the UI wasn't very good. Thought it was kind of a pain in the ass and kind of confusing in some ways for getting from place to place. And I was playing on controller, so it was especially like frustrating getting from one place to the other sometimes. Some guy made some compilation video of all the complaints of the stuff, and he put all these creators, including me, in there, right? And then Tectone watched it on stream. This was before we knew each other at all, and he was like, is what he just said. He's like, that's completely take, is what he said. He's like, this guy's. So I mean, I didn't really care that he said that. I was just kind of laughing about it on my stream, so people started calling me the UI guy because I was talking about the UI basically, and just kind of became a meme that like people always ask me, so how's the UI or something about a game, like as though I don't know, I guess I'm really critical of that or something. And you know what? Later on, Tectone went back to play ZZZ and he's like, I can't find anything in these menus. I'm confused. He was right.
Yeah,
That's the
I actually have
redemption.
to agree. Even now with Zenless, I still have to press like random F1 through 4 to figure out. Like I just can't remember. Obviously, because for me, I started with like Hoyo games, and then Wuwa kind of made the transition easy because it's similar, you know.
Oh yeah, it's the same format, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when a lot of people were talking about Wuwa, I was like, oh, but like having the same like format helps players like recognize the game a lot faster, you know. If it's completely
Yeah.
different, it's hard. Yeah.
A lot of people get really mad when some games copy other things, and I totally understand. Like, it's unoriginal, it's kind of lame, but it also makes it so people who are fans of one game can really easily get into the other one. So that's why so many games copy the exact same thing. Like, every game copies the Genshin Impact Battle Pass, like how it looks and all that kind of stuff. Like, because then someone goes from one to the other, they instantly go, oh, I understand all this. Oh, these hotkeys are the same. Like, they don't have to relearn and it's easier to play.
Yeah, when I was in WUA CBT, a lot of people did mention that. And I was like, guys, not a bad thing because like from a very casual perspective, you want to like be able to understand the game right away, you know, the UI.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I had played Zenless, I totally did not like the UI. I was struggling a lot. It's like sensory overload. There's just like a bunch of things.
Yeah, you press start and it's just like so many buttons, and then there's a sub menu with more buttons. And you're like, okay, so I don't know. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm also pretty critical on UI, but I'm not like as critical as you know. So
Yeah, I guess
it's nice. It's nice when someone can like properly explain and voice like a UI thing. I know Arknights Endfield CBT happened like last week.
Well, I mean, I still play it sometimes. It's still
you
up,
still play
right?
it?
Is it?
Yeah, no, it's still up.
Okay,
But
okay.
The thing is, so with CBT, a lot of people like they play it for a few days and then they stop.
I've played it a good amount. I think my account level is like 52 or something like that. I think the game is great. I'm actually like I just finished like a little script thing for a video I want to make about it.
Nice.
I think the game has insane potential. I think a lot of people are not really seeing it for what it is because I think it's way more than a gacha game. It's much more of an actual game with gacha tacked onto it.
I assume since CBT you've played it all the time, and I agree with you. I think the game has insane like potential and stuff. What do you think about the intro, like the beginning cinematics? Because, well, I guess for those watching,
I thought it was sick.
yeah, Arknight starts off with a very beautiful like intro.
Yeah, the beginning intros, I thought that was all really cool, and you're like, whoa, what's going on, right? It makes you want to know what's happening and learn more.
Did you play original Arknights or no?
Never, not a single time. But I think that Arknights, the original, has some of the best art I've ever seen for characters, and I think its music, it has a bunch of bangers. But other than that, never played it.
The beginning intro, I had someone explain to me like, oh, there's a lot of like hints and lore from
Yeah.
the OG Arknights, you know? So I was like, oh wow, that's like really cool that they implemented that. But then there's like an entire cinematic to like the very beginning, and that like caught me off guard because it was like a good amount of animation, good amount of cutscenes, good amount of dialogues, play styles and stuff. Actually, with Arknights, what do you think about the overall game play style and like voice acting?
I thought it was all pretty high tier. I think the game plays like a JRPG, something that you may have played on I don't know, like GameCube, PlayStation, something like that. It feels like a Tales game, like Tales of Symphonia or like Xenoblade, something along those lines. It doesn't really feel like you're playing a gacha until you open the pull system or, you have your energy. Unless you're doing that, it just feels like you're playing a real game.
What makes it feel like a real game to you?
You know what? One of the biggest things that I think is a huge underrated thing in these gachas. So when you play a game like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, those are the big ones that people always talk about. You're mostly exploring and doing things just for the pull currency. That's the only reason you explored the world. Like, why? There's nothing else to get in the world other than pulls, like you open chests, do puzzles, all that stuff. But in Arknights Endfield, you actually feel like exploring because you're discovering like, oh, here's a mineral field, and like now I need to connect the wires to start to mine this so that my factory gets more efficiency, I can start producing these things. It feels like you're exploring because you actually want to, and not because, oh, this is the only way to get my primos, like I gotta pull, like I have to do this to be able to pull these characters. It doesn't feel that the same way to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I agree. Like when you play, it's not for pulls, it's like to progress, And I think they do a really good job of like being immersive, I guess, with the cutscenes and stuff. What do you think about the base building?
It's gonna filter so many people. So many people are gonna go, I'm out. And also, there's this part where they make you do like 6 base building missions in a row or something, like really early on, you probably remember. And it's just a pain. You're like, let me play the game, boss. Like, I just want to go play the game. They need to smooth that stuff out a bit. Maybe make the building slightly easier, but I also think they need some sort of blueprint system where you can be like, okay, I need to make this resource. I think that would make it really easy for people to ease into the game. Maybe not make it perfect though. Make it like really inefficient, but it gets the job done, to make it so that you can get the minimum, but not the maximum.
Did you ever like struggle with the base building? Because when I like started that, okay, you bit, but then how long did it take for you to like learn and get over like that hump? Do you have like a whole system going on in your
I never learned farming. I just said, you know what, this is the beta. I'm not even gonna bother with this crap. Like, I'm using like level 40 gear on my level 80 characters. Like, I'm so stacked on everything else. My gear is garbage because I can't farm to make like seeds to grind those seeds to make a powder to combine with another thing to then make like some plate to turn into a disc to then turn into like level 80 gear. And if I had that set up, it would be really easy, but I don't. So I'm just like in the Stone Age over here. I mean, I understand the building. I'm gonna be real. I just think it's kind of boring to do on stream. Like if I was just to
Oh,
spend hours farming or something. So I was like, I'm just gonna do this when the game releases. Like I don't really want to do it now in the beta and make it like a whole pain. So that's what I figured.
yeah. No, it's like so. Or for me, it feels boring on stream because like when I'm base building, I lock in. Like I cannot look at chat,
Mm,
and I'm like thinking quietly in my head because like you had mentioned, you have to like connect and think how to like shred an item and then refine it or mold it and whatnot. And so when I asked Stefaru for help, he like, oh yeah, just do this. It's an infinite loop. I was like, bro, what? I never thought of this. So, like,
everything's an
it would be
infinite loop.
yes. And the thing is, oh my god, the worst. What do you think about the malfunction stuff that happens in the base? Or did you just not spend a lot of time in the
Wait,
base?
malfunction? I don't even.
Yeah.
What are
Wait.
you talking about?
So in the base, like there's too much items or it clogs, it like malfunction and then it stops working.
The only time I've ever had that stop happening is when I was completely maxed out on something like 10,000 or whatever, and so the
Oh.
machines would just all stop. I never
Oh,
had malfunction.
dang. Must be
Yeah,
that.
I mean, like, I guess I just didn't interact enough with it. I interacted enough
Oh,
for me to understand what's going on,
yeah.
and I think it's good. I think it's a good system. I just think a lot of people are not going to be into it, so,
Yeah.
some
No,
sort of blueprint thing's going to help a lot of players. I don't really care about that
yeah.
too much, but a lot of people will.
Now I think for me it was like the power thing. I didn't know how to increase power.
Oh, the batteries,
Uh
yeah.
I feel like coming from a very casual perspective, I was struggling a lot and at one point I felt
Mm,
like quitting the game. But then I was like, oh my god, I'm in beta, like my viewers want to see the game, so I'm gonna keep pushing. But you're so right, because right now with the armor stuff, I only recently just upgraded it. But if I don't need to, and if I can still clear content, I'm keeping my gear at like level 18, you know?
yeah. I
Uh,
mean, the game's kind of hard, though. Like, some of the later fights, like, even doing the highest level of, like, farming experience or something, it's like the enemies kill you in 1 to 2 hits, and
yeah,
they're tough.
when they say like the recommendation level, it's like you should be a little bit higher than that, or at least like everyone is the same level. Because I tried at level 50, I tried doing a level 60 like domain, and I died right away. I was like, oh, I feel so bad. This is like a little bit spoilers for like CBT. I assume you finished the main story, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I finished all that.
Okay.
I'm in the, like, bamboo area.
Yeah, no, I stopped right there because I wanted to go back to like fully explore and build my characters from the first area. But what'd you think about the mechanics for the second boss and we'll start with the second boss first because I want to know.
Really cool. I like the mechanics a bunch. I thought it was shocking to fight a boss in a gacha game that actually had mechanics. I was blown away that there was something other than like, we spawn 3 orbs, grab the orbs, or like break the orb, or, something like that. Like just total crap. I'm glad they actually had like a bunch of different moves and mechanics. You're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it was like a learning curve for me, and I felt so bad because my characters were like under leveled, but then I could do it. I just needed a little bit of time and skill. They don't explain it to you too. They kind of like throw you in, and then you have to watch and learn. So I thought that was like nice,
Yeah,
because
that's how it should be, honestly.
yeah,
Like I've realized recently I really like it when games treat you like an adult or like a human and stop, putting yellow paint everywhere, explain everything, and then, you encounter the boss and a tip comes up, Paimon comes with a tip, it's like, this boss looks dangerous. Have you tried jumping when it does this? It's like, I don't need this crap. It's like, let me just use my brain for a second. Like, sure, maybe you lose, maybe you die like once or twice, but then you learn. Like, doesn't that make it feel so much better when you win rather than, oh, that was the easiest boss I've ever seen?
yeah. I think the second game that came close to that was like Path of Exile. It just came into the
Mm,
boss fight, and then you learn as you play the game
yeah, that
instead of
game's
like
pretty
getting
brutal.
tips. Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. And then the third boss, But what do you think about her mechanics?
That boss, I thought was sick. I really liked that boss. I like the multiple phases in all these boss battles being like really different. Like even the first boss has 2 phases, which surprised me. I was like, wow, I can't believe there's actual mechanics like, oh, you need to dodge out of these areas, that kind of thing. Because I was just shocked to feel like I was being treated like a human rather than an animal. I had a great time fighting the bosses. It actually feels like, oh, I lost because I messed up because now I know this thing, which is really cool. I really like the bosses. I think the bosses are one of the biggest highlights of the game.
Yeah. I think for me it was like the cutscene into the boss because it's like cinematic.
That's cool. Yeah, I thought the cutscenes were really cool too. I agree. What they could have done instead is maybe just have a black screen and be like, Chen attacks the person, and then that would have been really cool.
Hey, at least a CBT, because you know what? That feedback would have been crazy. You know, everyone would have been saying the same thing.
Yeah. Well, hey, closed beta somehow has all these cutscenes. I don't know what's going on here.
Dude, yeah, they have so much cutscenes. Oh my god. And then how the story ended. You know how it ends, right? With Tada exploding and stuff.
Oh yeah.
During our journey of like trying to get to the final boss, we come across a companion, a robot
big
named
spoiler.
Tada.
I don't know. Can you say all this?
Okay, you know what? All right, hold up.
Top 10 saddest anime moments in history? Am I crazy?
Oh, okay, hold on. Rewind it back. All right, spoiler alert, without actually saying what happens. I wanted to know how you felt when the story ended, and I was going to give my opinions first.
So, I skipped most of the story, right?
What?
But I did.
Oh, actually, no, it makes sense. Continue.
But I did see all the stuff with Tada, and I was like, Tada! I was like, no! I mean, we know it was kind of a fake out kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But if it wasn't, I was like, wow, that's actually it was kind of crazy that they did that. I mean, so you see, this is something that people always say about Honkai Star Rail, right? And you know, more spoilers, I guess, related to all this. But I'm kind of tired of character fake outs all the time happening, because. And people always be like, well, people just want characters to die. They always say that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, all they care about is characters die. But how I see it is, you can't do fake outs if no one ever dies, right? If characters if you have the precedent that it can happen, then the fake out means something, because you go, oh, wow, like, are they actually? Is it? But when everything's a fake out, it's like, bro, how am I going to take any of this seriously? Like, come on. Like, and in a game like Arknights, I've always heard the game is pretty brutal. I've heard that lots of characters die in the story. I've heard a lot of that kind of stuff, so I don't really know what to expect, right?
I guess it's like kind of rearing to the side, but with Star Rail doing that, I feel like they're doing a lot of death signs for these characters. So now it's like a gamble whether they actually die or it's a fake out for the death.
Look, everything's going to be fine in the end is what I'll tell you. Even if characters die, they will come back and it will be fine. And at the very most, it'll be one character has the most noble sacrifice of all at the very end. But even then, that's pretty shaky.
Yeah, that's like a typical like trope. Now it becomes easy to read. Because I guess, who was it that... There was a few, back in Pentacone, a few characters had like death signs. And it turned out to be like a fake out and stuff.
Worst fake outs I've ever seen.
Oh, wow. Well, I feel like I don't play enough games. So, like, to me, I was like, oh, but then now it's like, oh, every character that we see is like, oh, are they going to die or whatnot?
Oh, I don't mean bad fake out in terms of like, it wasn't shocking. I meant bad fake out in terms of I was like, oh, wow, they killed them. Oh, never mind. They're just chilling. Oh, okay.
Yeah, never mind. They're actually alive. They're coming back. Don't worry. So with Arknights, I felt like when it happened too fast. And my only judgment was like, we didn't build a connection enough. So like when the big plot happened in Arknights with Tada, I was kind of like, oh, it's sad, but like I'm a very emotional person. But then I was like, oh, I don't feel like crying though, you know, because it just happened.
I'm gonna be real. The Tada scene was sadder than anything I've seen in a Hoyoverse game. I'm gonna be real.
No, yeah, it was sad, but then in my mind I was like, oh, we barely, like, there was, okay, the way they
did the little
had the
face.
cutscene.
They did the little face.
Okay. It was like the light shining the face. It's just like, thank you. Like that was sad, but then like how the execution of it felt weak to me.
Oh wow, so critical of this.
Yeah, what do you think about the overall like CBT story that they had for
I
us?
skipped the story. I
Oh,
read the
oh my God, you
beginning.
mentioned.
Yeah,
Oh,
I read the
you did mention
beginning.
that.
Yeah, you skipped me saying that. Yeah, I read the beginning and then I skipped later because I'm just gonna be honest. I don't really think that gotcha stories are all that good. Straight up, like I've read a bunch. People always like to hype up every story. They're like, dude, this is the crazy. That was such a good patch. I read it and I go, what? I bet some of those stories you were reading earlier about smut or something have way more in-depth stories than some of these. I'm gonna be real. I bet you can agree that too. Like some of these gotcha stories, it's just like it's like a kid wrote. It's like, and then this happened, and then this, and then this, and then that. Except the characters are just standing there, you know, gesturing with their arms, and I'm like, well, I'm not getting much out of this compared to like even a book. That's just me
Oh,
though.
do you?
I'm really
Yeah,
critical.
I think everyone like has opinions, and it's good. Well, I'm very like optimistic, so like to hear like you being critical is like it's interesting to me because like I'm not seeing the same thing unless like you point it out, and then it's like, oh, okay. Usually people skip CBT because they want to experience the full game upon release. But I like plot and lore, and I played Arknights Endfield for the main plot. I wanted to see the story. I
Yeah.
thought it was good. I just hope your expectations, I guess, aren't like too high, because I do know like whenever someone says something is super good, I come in with super high expectations, and it's never met. So maybe
Hmm.
it's like that. Maybe.
I usually go in with low expectations, and if it surprises me, then I'm like, oh, well, that was amazing. But
Oh no.
I don't know. Just I've read a bunch of different gotcha stories and never found them to be all that amazing. That's all. I mean, I'm really critical of that kind of stuff. But
What would you say is like? It doesn't have to be a gacha game, but like, what is an example of like a game? I don't know, an anime, a story that you think is super super good that reaches
oh,
your
anime
expectations.
includes too.
Well, I think of gacha anime because like when I ask Fob says like gacha stories.
He likes like
He
Nikke's story, I
usually
think, or something.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
few
he
others,
usually
yeah.
rates gacha stories on like the lower end from like actual stories.
I always
So when
put
he
ratings separate. So people will be like, "How good is this game?" I'll say, "As a gotcha, it's this. As a game, it's this." And same with story
Mhm.
usually too. For like a gotcha
Mm.
story, it's like this out of 10. You know.
Okay, so what makes a gacha story great? Like, and what is a good gacha story?
Okay, there's like a few things. I would say one, the characters that are involved actually feel like characters. What usually happens in so many of these ones is it's just NPCs that come for a little bit and then they're gone. They never mattered. They never really got
Mm.
fleshed out. They're not going to come back. They're not important. Not actually using, any banner characters that actually really matter that people like. Usually there's so much rambling and talking about stuff rather than showing anything. Even something very simple on screen, like even a still image can mean a lot when it displays something that's important because like when you read a book, so most of the words are describing something. But usually in these stories, you just see the characters talking and there's no description because you see it on screen, but usually what you're seeing on screen is nothing, right? Like they don't describe anything that any scenes, but there's also nothing happening on the screen. So you're getting nothing out of that. Essentially, you just hear dialogue nonstop. I don't even care about voice acting for stories most of the time because I just read faster than they talk, so I just skip through half what they're saying. So that doesn't really matter most of the time. Yeah, I don't know. I like it when the story surprises me too. Because most of these stories, look, we know the hero's gonna win, the bad guy's gonna lose, everyone's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a moment where like, oh no, what happened? Oh wait, they're fine. It's always so run of the mill that you don't have to shock me, but at least be something where it's compelling, where I'm like, oh, I almost never feel the gotcha. And I don't know about if you feel this way. Do you ever feel like, oh, I really want to know what happened next? Like, that was crazy. Like, what's going to happen in the next chapter? I got to play to get to
Ah,
that part. That never happens to me.
dang. Maybe instead of I think in patches. So like Penacony, I was excited to see what happened next. What do you think about Penacony's story?
So at first I liked it. And then the more I thought about it, so I
Oh
like
god.
it and it's good, but it has some parts that just are so bad. Like, all of Aventurine's plot. So he does this whole big sacrifice thing and he's like adios and he goes in the void, all that. None of that mattered at all. It was literally the moment his banner ended, he ended. That's what they did. So he was on banner. They're like, let's do his big story. The moment after his banner, apparently off screen, he got saved by Argenti and he's just chilling now. And you never see him again. And I'm like, what was the point of any of this? The whole like dream within a dream world. seems so stupid that he did this whole plot thing just for that. And Robin's just chilling there. And then Gallagher is apparently a serial killer, but JK in the next patch, he's actually a cool, nice guy. And that, you know, the creature thing that was with him that kills Sunday, never mind, they're all fine, JK. Like, it just all felt like,
Oh,
it turned from an interest story where I'm like, oh my God, Gallagher is like this bad guy. And eventually he's doing this crazy sacrifice thing to, oh, it's Mickey Mouse Playhouse. Everybody's totally fine and having a great time and nothing's wrong. I was like, oh. Everyone's the good guy? Okay. And then they redeemed Sunday later too, and I'm like, oh, Sunday's the good guy now? Everyone's the good guy. You either die or you're a good guy.
Going back to like the question that you had, I feel like I feel like whenever I play story, I'm always looking forward to the next thing, you know? So it's interesting that for you, it's like, oh, you don't feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, with gacha games, not really.
You know, I will say with Starro, like a facial, like before, like in the prison.
I didn't get that
like,
far, I'm gonna be real.
Oh, you didn't get that
For
far?
Penacony, I hate Luofu, so I just stopped. When I knew Luofu was coming out, I was like, I can't go back there. That was my least favorite
but then,
part.
so you skipped through it?
No, I just didn't do it. I just have not done Luofu. You can skip straight to 3.0.
Oh, that is true. Oh my God, I totally forgot. I was sitting here like, wait, how'd you get to Amphorius then? Oh.
I didn't even finish the end of Penacony with all the sparkle dolls and stuff. I skipped straight from what, like 2.2 to Amphorius.
Oh, I forget about the QOL because in my mind, I feel like playing the main story is like important.
It's not my main game. It's not like for you, you're really Honkai Star Rail kind of person, right? But it's just for me, it's like a side game, you know?
Yeah. What would you say is your main game? Wuwa?
Yeah, I guess it's Wuwa. I mean, I like Wuthering Waves. It's not the best game I've ever played in my life, but I think it's a good game. I'm pretty critical even of the games that I play. Like I'll always say the bad parts of them pretty much still.
No. I mean, I think it's really good to have both critical and like positive opinions and stuff. Obviously, like we want our games to do better. But I was just curious what your main game was, or like what games do you play? But you play like a lot of games, you know. I remember you played like Epic 7 at one point.
Oh, I played Epic 7 for quite a bit. Yeah, that's my first stream game, and let's just say almost none of the people who streamed Genshin have streamed more Genshin than I have Epic 7. And it's not even close for most.
Oh, wait. How many hours do you have in Epic 7?
Guess a number. Well, guess any number you want. How many hours do you think?
We talked about this, but my poor pea brain. Oh, I had too much brain rot. 5,000?
More.
10,000?
No, less. Less than 10,000.
Okay.
It's 8,000. It's 8,000.
Oh, 8,000.
Which,
bro, that's...
You know, it's interesting. I think it's like 8,300 something hours in like a year. So...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. When I first started streaming, the first year of streaming, I streamed an average of 12 hours a day. That was the average. Because I would have 14-hour days and like sometimes it'd be 11 or 10. And I think I didn't skip a day.
Oh my God. It's almost a whole year.
I don't have a life.
Wow. I was like, I think, yeah, my most streamed game might just be Genshin because I did stream Genshin for 2 whole years. 2.5 years. Yeah,
that's completely natural, yeah. The game a lot of people start with, they have the most of.
Yo, that's crazy. Okay,
yeah, it's not something I'm proud of, okay? I'm not proud of it. It's just, that's what happened.
Do you play the game for the story or for like the gameplay?
Oh, it's a PvP gacha game. I mean, if you know Honkai Star Rail, it's essentially Honkai Star Rail, but I mean, with PvP and more complicated, I guess. I would just be grinding PvP all the time. I
always hear people talk about like Epic 7, but like these games, I hear it, but I just don't know what they're like. Even like Azur Lane, you know, I hear about Azur Lane, but then gameplay wise, like when I watch it, I was like, oh, it's a lot different than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know, it could be some good stream content or hell, video content to try out all these different games and first impression, what do you think of it? People like that kind of stuff. It's kind of fun to try these games because there's always people in any of our chats that they're into that game and they're like excited to see someone try it.
That's true. What is one game that you haven't tried yet but is like on your list for gacha games?
I don't know. I think I've pretty much tried almost all the ones that I was actually curious about because whenever I stream, I only stream things that I want to. Like if I don't want to stream something, it's gone. So anything that I have ever really been interested in streaming for like gacha, I just do it. So I've pretty much tried almost all the games that interested me, I think.
Would you try a game that you're not interested in, but like chat really wants you to play it?
Sometimes, but very rarely. Usually if I'm not interested, I just don't play it at all. Unless it's something like chat vote thing or, you know, something like that, like an incentive, I guess. But no, I mean, The stream is pretty much just me playing games and then everyone else there, and I just talk with them. I'm always down for suggestions though, but if the game doesn't look good, I usually won't play it.
Okay, and this is like not only gacha, right? It just goes to
Oh
like
yeah,
any
like
other
any
game.
game. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, have you played Black Myth Wukong?
I did. Yeah.
Did you finish it?
Yeah. It was a good game.
Oh
I
wow.
liked it. Did you finish
dang,
it? I think you're still
I
doing it, right?
Yeah, I just finished chapter 2, but I need to go back because I missed a few things.
Chapter 2. Wait, didn't you start
what? like
when the game came out or something? How many months
Nope.
does this run?
I actually don't know.
Oh.
I don't think I played it upon release. I waited like 2 months.
Came out in like August or something, I think. But
yeah, no, I started way later. I guess for me, there's a lot of games out there, but I feel like cozy and like more confident streaming my gacha games because this is like gacha, you know. And then when I try like out these new games, it's like skill issue becomes a thing. Like
I mean,
is kind of tough.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. That can be fun for chat sometimes. I mean, I just like playing games. Like, I'm not amazing at games, but I can pretty much finish usually any game that I'm gonna play if I like it.
But like not gacha games, like real like games that has like end game content.
Actual games, yeah.
I don't want to say actual game. Yeah, actual games. You know, what would be like your top 3 actual games? I can start with mine.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, I will say Amori. I played Amori offline.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't want to play it on stream, you know. I feel like stream, I'm in the mood to talk to chat. So I played Amori offline completely and I loved it. What sucked was that I wasn't able to go back to like 100% the game. So I might need to start over. Elden Ring I had finished and the DLC before they nerfed the final boss. And then the last one, I'm gonna say Amnesia. Amnesia was scary, but I did enjoy like the lore of it.
Oh, interesting.
There's also The Witcher, but The Witcher I did not finish. It's too long.
You really liked it though, right?
Yeah, Witcher's really good. It's a big game to play. Same with Red Dead Redemption. It's a big game. Oh, sorry, one more. Soma. Okay, now I listen to too many games.
Soma. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I kind of see
okay.
what you like. You do really care about the story, except for like Elden Ring, pretty much, because, you know, there's not really story, but you do care about these like very story-driven games, I think. Do you ever play Undertale? I feel like you'd like that.
I played Undertale, but it was like a speed run when I had first started out on YouTube. So
okay.
I need to redo it again. I know there's a popular character named Sans.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you should play through the whole thing, like all the routes. It's really good. I think people would like that. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, I played for 5 hours. I was almost done, but it was like when I was first new to streaming, I only streamed like 2 to 3 hours at a time. So this is like an endurance stream and I skipped through everything.
Endurance stream 5 hours.
Oh yeah, at the time, you know, when you're new to stream, like 2 hours is a lot and then it builds up over time.
So I guess you were asking favorite games. My favorite games. Let me think. I'm pretty sure I would say Elden Ring is definitely up there. I don't know if I have a particular order, but Elden Ring, absolutely. It made me more interested in games again because I kind of stopped playing games for a while. And it kind of got me in to realize, wait a second, it's not that I don't like games, it's that so many games have been sucking recently. I don't like the games that are out. I really like Path of Exile. Path of Exile 1, I guess I would say. I played so much of it. Absolutely insane. Amazing game, top tier. I think Warcraft 3 is probably one of those. That's all I played in middle school. Until I started playing League of Legends, that's the only game that I was just grinding away nonstop. Because they have custom games. And I think it's funny, I played Roblox for a sponsor, right? That's just the modern era of Warcraft 3 custom games, and that's used to be all I would do. I would play nonstop Warcraft 3. My parents would get super pissed at me, try and make me go off the computer and stuff all the time. I would just play so much of that. I would kind of say those are some of my favorite games of all time. I'm trying to think what else, but I think that's some of the main stuff.
So like ARPG style games.
Well, Warcraft is like I guess strategy game, but I was just playing variety, you know, fun games, so it wasn't really strategy at all.
Yeah, I guess like for a lot of games that you had mentioned, it is like strategy for the most part, you know. Like the base building is like strategy. Epic 7 PvP is like strategy. You have to know
turn-based
how to PvP. Yeah, turn-based and whatnot. Have you played Little Nightmares?
I have Little Nightmares 1 and 2, yeah, and there's a third one coming out. I did play them. They're interesting. They're very atmospheric.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I played that. I'm excited for the co-op one because I low-key thought it was like kind of scary, but like the storytelling in Little Nightmares was like nice.
Yeah. I think anytime you do something a scary game with other people, it's not very scary. It like really lowers it a lot.
Wait, really? I still get scared.
I feel like way more comfortable if someone else is there. It's like, yeah, just hanging out with a friend,
Have you played like Phasmophobia or Lethal Company?
Yep.
Oh,
I've played both of those.
with like a big group or just like pairs or
Well, like,
solo?
3 other people or something. Like, I think the
Oh,
standard size for both of them.
I feel like even with Phasmophobia, I still get like really scared. And Lethal Company.
I don't really get scared with Lethal Company. There's something about it where it's just like, it's so goofy that I don't really get that scared or something. Phasmophobia is a little bit creepier, but I kind of, at a certain point with some of these games, I just get the mindset like, who cares? It's just a game, and I'll just be like, I'm going in, and then I just run in Phasmophobia or
Oh,
something.
hey, I like need that mindset because I feel like even if I have that mindset, I run in, I die because I get scared. There's also like Escape the Backrooms. It's like goofy, but low key, high key, I was scared. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that. I get scared pretty easily, but I don't know.
Doesn't
I don't
sound
ever,
like
I
it.
never really, well, I don't ever really look like I'm scared, but I don't know. I get scared easily.
I assume you play like a few like scary games, horror games. Which one would you say was the scariest for you?
I think the game Visage was probably one of the scariest, but I don't know. It got kind of dumb at some parts, but it had some really like creepy, scary things for part of it.
What chapter did you play for that game?
I did
There's
all of them.
Oh, all
There's
of
like
them?
the old woman, there's like the
Yeah.
guy in the hospital, and then there's
Yep.
like the crutch one, and then there's like, I think it's the girl or
Yep.
something.
Yep. Little
Yeah.
girl. Little girl.
The scariest was the old woman. The old woman was the scariest, and then maybe the little girl, and then the guy with the crutch, he was just goofy as hell. I don't know. I wasn't even like scared. I was like, this guy he's really silly.
Oh my goodness. I feel like it's the opposite. The grandma one wasn't as scary. It was just like slow. And then the girl, and then I have not played the hospital one because I'm terrified of
Really?
playing it.
I don't know. I thought it
Yeah.
was kind of silly. Have you ever played E.T.? Did you ever play that?
No, but I hear that Visage is like similar similar vibes. Same with like Silent Hill
Yeah,
PT.
I played it when it came out. I think it was around Halloween or something when I played it, and probably the best horror game ever made. And it was literally just a demo.
Hey, it was like Visage was inspired by it, but
Did you?
yeah, the game never released.
Yeah, it never
was just
came
a
out
demo.
because Kojima got like fired, and he was the one who was making the game. It was going to be a new Silent Hill game. Did you ever
Dang.
play Me-Side?
No,
Oh, okay. There's a part in it that is literally straight up completely directly inspired from PT. Basically just like a hallway. Because how PT works is it's one hallway. That's the whole game. It's a singular hallway that
Oh,
you walk down, take a turn, and then it's just this hallway.
oh,
And each time you pass
Jesus.
through it, stuff changes. And every time you go
Oh.
reach the end, you open the door and you end up at the start. But each time things changes, you kind of have to solve puzzles as you go, and it starts to get really scary.
Do you like Me Side?
Yeah, good game. I think that's a great stream game, honestly. It was a really good indie game.
I won't lie, like when I first saw it, I thought it was like I said to my chat it looked okay to stream, but then I realized like was I just saying that because it was like a scary game, and so I'm being like a
You
coward?
didn't want to?
Yeah.
I think you might like it.
I like scary games, but I get scared so easily, and that's the thing that I hate.
Yeah, there are parts, but I think you would like it. I think it'd be a good stream game, personally.
I'll think about it.
It's not that
Uh,
crazy. It's not like, oh my God, like all the time, but it is a lot of not scary things in it. Like, I wouldn't worry too much.
I was like, you say that, but when you play like Phasmophobia, you're not scared.
Okay, well, Phasmophobia is like constant dealing with a ghost and scary stuff, but Me-Side, it's a lot more story oriented. You might like that.
I do like story.
It's very story.
There was another scary game that I wanted to mention.
Outlast or something, maybe?
Oh, have you played Outlast?
I played Outlast 2, and I watched someone play 1.
No, I never finished it. I you know what? Outlast was scary at first, but then it gets repetitive. That's what it was.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, there's a co-op thing called Outlast Trials. It's actually really fun.
Oh yeah, that
It's
game looks
pretty
kind of
goofy.
cool, actually.
It's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. And it's scary too. Well, it's scary to me. Oh, the game I wanted to talk about was Mouthwash. Have you played that?
Oh, no, I haven't, but I did watch someone play it. Some
Ooh.
games I just, I don't stream, I don't play, and I'll just be like, I'll just watch someone else play it.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of recommendations from chat to play mouthwashing. But then in my mind, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's too slow on stream because it's like story, you know. I was just curious if you play mouthwashing. That was it.
No, I haven't. I've played some like really story-heavy games on stream, but it kind of depends because story games are hard on stream because if someone misses some of it, it's like, well, they don't really want to see the rest of it, and so you kind of want to do it in like one go a lot of the time, right?
True, yeah. I used to just do like 1 to 2 hours at a time. That's what I did with Soma. You should play Soma if or
I already
guess,
know what happens.
oh, you know?
Yeah, because I used to watch a lot of other streamers play games before I ever started streaming. So like there's tons of games that have gotten spoiled to me that's like I can't play Danganronpa or like 999 or stuff like that. It's all spoiled for me.
Even if you get spoiled, like, don't you think you would just forget the plot?
Sometimes, but a lot of the good ones I just remember it, and so I don't want to stream and be like, I wonder what's gonna happen, guys. Oh man, first time experience. Yeah, I'm not gonna like make it like, whoa, I can't believe that happened.
I guess for me, maybe it's just like early onset dementia, but like even if its story's really good, it takes me a little bit to remember. I'm able to rewatch shows and then kind of remember, but then kind of like forget.
I can understand that if it's like a long time, depending on what it is, but sometimes I'll just know like the ending, and then because the ending, I connect the dots like previous stuff, right? It's like I remember that.
Well, I don't know if you have it, but like I learned that people with ADHD, like we're forgetful. So like for the plot, I don't know how it ends, but the thing is, it's like on the way there, you know, like you can't remember the small details of certain events and the order that it goes.
Yeah, I kind of understand that.
Hey, now that I realize I'm definitely story based. I have a lot of games in my library that I have not played yet. They're all like story based games.
You do seem to really care about that, especially since like gachas, all that kind of stuff. It's all about like the story and what's gonna happen next. And...
Hey, that's why it's so good talking to someone who's like the opposite. Cause yeah, I was gonna tell you like in the Lofu, I was looking forward to the Fei Xiao like prison story just to see how it escalates. And obviously, you know, we get to like the big fight with the Yanqing thing, which you might have seen.
Yeah, a little bit I think of. I
yeah.
watched Box 2 play the Luofu, or no, I think it was the Rappa quest, and he fell asleep in the middle of the stream for 10 hours.
Dude.
He hated it.
Oh
He
my
was
God.
just I was messaging him at the time. He was like, "Oh man, maybe I should end stream." Worlds was happening for League. I was like, "Watch some Worlds with me or something." He was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll do that." And then within 5 minutes after, he just passed out for 10 hours on stream.
Dude, I remember because when I was streaming, he like raided into me and they were like, he fell asleep for 10 hours. I was like, oh my goodness. That was freaking hilarious. Hey, I wish you did Rappa's story so I can ask your opinions on that
No
too.
way was I doing that. I was gonna skip. I actually said if I have to do it, I'm never playing the game again. But I can just skip through it. Like I was just not
I ain't
gonna
gonna
sit
lie.
there.
I kind of enjoyed the story.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I kind of enjoyed the story. I ain't gonna lie. You know, it was a lot of yapping, but then like once you get to the plot and the reason why, especially Rappa's backstory, I was like, oh,
Wasn't that like
dang.
10 minutes of 6 hours or something like that? Is like, oh wow, I kept seeing people be like, yeah, Rappa's backstory was good, but everything else was terrible.
They had to, you know, explain and drag it out, you know. Gotta give everyone the ins and outs of the lore and whatnot.
Well, just so there's no misconception, I do love stories of stuff. And I read like a lot of light novels, and when I get into something like I'm really interested in it, I literally just I've had it where I would just spend whole days just sitting there reading, like the whole entire day. Sometimes I would barely eat food even, and then I just fall asleep, wake up the next day, and then I go back to reading. Like I've had it where I once like I've multiple times that I just didn't stream because I was like, well, I only got 3 hours of sleep. I'm pretty tired. This would be a terrible stream. I'll just keep reading this. Yeah, I get super into that kind of stuff, and I binge them, but it's just I don't think gachas are the same way for me at all.
No. I there was like never a misconception. I think to me, it feels like you consume a lot of story content, and so like you're not the only one with the opinion that gacha stories like are terrible, you know.
Yeah,
But
there's
I
a
think
lot
for
of
me,
people.
yeah, there's a lot of people out there. But like for me, I think aside from like reading books, reading mangas, I try to indulge in every single plot. Just because even if it's a bad plot, I'm the type to like stick with it, and I guess that like really grew onto me. You know, like I won't lie, there's a lot of bad hentai plots, but I still read. I stopped reading for the art and I start reading for the plot.
Wow.
You know? So I actually like dug it out. And I think that's why like with a lot of gacha stories, I'm able to complete it and be like, oh, that was good. Just because I read like worse being hentai
Wow,
plots,
I've read worse,
you know?
so this isn't that bad.
Yeah, no, Well, yeah, so that's why it's so hard for me to cast judgment. Just because, especially with gacha games, I've only really played like Hoyo games. NIKKE is slow progress. I'm on and off with the story because I like the gameplay.
People like the NIKKE story a lot. I haven't really read too much, but the part I read, I thought was like pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, chapter 1 is like really good, and then you go into it, and then they expand on each character. So yeah, it's really cool, honestly. I guess I can't really be critical if I've read worse before, you know.
Well,
But not with gachas.
I sort of think the opposite. If you have read so much worse, then you can, and you've read better, you can kind of more critically look at them and be like, oh, well, this isn't nearly as good as X, Y, and Z. I think perspective is a really big thing, especially with gacha games. That's why so many people will be okay with bad systems or vice versa, is because they don't have the perspective of having played other gachas to be like, wait a second, why is this way? But it's like this and this other thing. Like, I think that's a really important thing, and so people trying other stuff out. You know, have you ever heard of real nerd sounding thing? Ever heard of the allegory of the cave?
I heard of allegory, but I don't remember. I heard of it.
It's basically like there's these three people chained up in a cave, and the only thing they see is like shadows through a window. And so they think that's the whole world. And then one guy eventually breaks free. He goes outside and sees the actual world, and he comes back and he's like, it's absolutely incredible. There's all these crazy things. It's so amazing. But the people in the cave are like, no, there isn't. This is all there is. Like, this is the whole world. What do you mean by that? Like, they don't have the perspective. They don't understand that. I think that's the same way with a lot of gacha games, is people don't have the perspective of other games. And so they'll be willing to accept, I guess, less or other things like that.
Yeah, for some like you had mentioned, you play a lot of niche games. I've only played like the mainstream gacha, so
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's totally fine.
You know what I will say though? Reverse 1999. Have you played that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Reverse 1999 storytelling was amazing.
Oh yeah, no,
for
it's
me.
probably one of the best out there, and they even apparently it's one of the only games like ever that even the Chinese players use the English dub, because every character has accents from the region. Like, they get someone who is bilingual who knows English but has the accent, and they voice all the characters and stuff. So people really like that. They get super into it.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I had perspective on like, oh wow, like characters can have accents.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's really cool
accents.
too. I love accents on characters. It's so much, I don't know, when everyone has like American accent and just sounds completely normal, I'm just like, okay, it's just someone pretending.
Yeah.
But when they have an accent in a place, I'm like, ooh, okay, now I'm more into it.
That was actually when Wua first came out, I didn't have that perspective. I was like, oh, I'm not used to accents, you know. And then at one point I was like, oh, with the characters having an accent, like not alienate, but like feel foreign to other people. But then my friend was like, no, accents are really cool. I think it was Reverse 1999 was the first perspective of like accents and like storytelling. And then Arknights Endfield was like a different perspective because they had like a good combination of everything.
Well, it's like, think about it this way. Let's pretend you see some D&D campaign, right? And there's a bunch of dwarves, and if all the dwarves were talking like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? It kind of would take you out, right? But if they have like some thick, I don't know, British accent or something, it's like, oh, this is a fantasy world. This is like, you get more immersed with that kind of thing when characters feel like more natural to the world.
That's very true. Hearing an accent is like, oh, that's like perfect, you know? Like what you had said, it's more immersive. Yeah, I didn't really think of it like that before. My expectations are real low.
I don't know. I just brought it up. I have no idea, but
no. It was a good comparison. That's why I like talking. Well, I wanted to have you on because you had like these critiques and stuff. It's giving me a different perspective, like what you said.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess talking to all these different guests you have on your show gives you perspective too in a different way.
Yeah, I think I always tell my chat like I'm very optimistic. And so I want to have a more opinionated. And then even if I consume stories, they're like one shot, like romance slice of life stories. Then each of them are like different plot, you know? So it's always hard.
One shot hentais or whatever.
Yo, hold up. No. Whoa. I meant, you know, romance slice of life, one shot.
Oh, sure.
Vanilla.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Cute story.
Nice.
You ever heard of this light novel called Lucia? You ever heard of that?
Actually, no.
Okay, never mind then.
Wait,
nothing.
Wait,
nothing. Never mind.
I'm searching it up right now.
I don't even know if you'll be able to find it.
Oh, there's a Reddit page called Otome Isekai.
That's not it. I don't think so.
Oh, it's a popular light novel covering adult drama and fantasy genres.
That's true.
Someone said, "Does it get better?" Oh, it's a spoiler.
Well, it's a romance story, but let's just put it this way. One of the tags is smut. For like a light novel. I was just curious if you read that.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. That sounds like something 2015 me would have really enjoyed.
2015 you, yeah.
Yo, hold
2025
up,
me,
what?
I'm a completely different person. I would
Exactly.
never indulge in something. That is wrong.
Okay,
You're
wait.
the
So
snake.
now, what's the plot about? What's the plot about?
What, you actually want to know?
Yeah, I'm all about plot. Have you heard of School Days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Fob explain to me the plot of School Days.
Oh,
'Cause
you
I
didn't
know I'm
know?
not gonna read
Oh,
it.
wow.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
see, I told you, I'm wholesome, bro.
I mean, it's just a romance story, but you know, it has that tag, says a lot of, you know.
So what's the plot though? You know, like what's the
It's like
overhauling
it's like some
story?
girl gets like her fortune told. She's some like, you know, like 13th princess or something, I think. And she gets her fortune told that she's like gonna die. And then she gets married off to
Oh,
some, but like because of that, she decides to change her future. So she goes and meets this guy who is like respected but has never been married and everyone's scared of him. And she's like, if you marry me, then you don't have to get married to anyone else and stop doing with all that crap and I will be protected. And that's basically the synopsis. I read this years
oh,
ago. I
that
used to read
sounds.
everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds like the plot of My Happy Marriage, kind of.
Oh, I've heard of the series, but I never watched it.
Yeah, it was like kind of, but not really. The difference was the MC, the girl, was almost like sold off. Like the family didn't really want her,
Hmm,
and so they gave her to like this prince or like this guy, where everyone thought he was like really mean and cold and stuff. But he's like the opposite.
classic.
But yeah,
And
yeah.
he's
So it was like
actually
a
the
typical.
best guy ever and hot and
Yeah,
everyone loves
no,
it.
he really was. I was like, oh my god, this is best guy. You know, he whenever she was in trouble, he would come through and save her. I was curious because I was like, I don't think I'll ever read Lucia. But if the plot sounds interesting enough, I'll like pick it up. So I was curious.
Yeah, for me, I care about the plot of some stuff. So for like, if it's like a scary movie that I know I'm never gonna watch, I'll just read the entire plot. I just do
Actually,
that
that
for
was me.
stuff. Like, yeah, I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna watch this. Like, what do you think I'm gonna spend an hour and a half on this like crap movie or something? I'll just read the whole plot and be like, damn, that's what happens. Okay.
Dude, that was every time, like, so when I'm on like an airplane and I'm trying to watch a movie, but I know I won't finish it, I'll write down the title and then read the plot after I land when I have
Oh
Wi-Fi.
wow.
Oh, there's a lot of like short films and stuff that's like might be a little bit too extreme for me, so I'll also search up the synopsis of it rather than watching it.
Wow, too
'Cause-
extreme for even you.
Oh, okay. I think extreme for me. So like, but I say extreme, I mean like gore, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, so like hentai stuff's whatever, you know, it's a quick scroll. But then like when it's something gory or like kind of like Made in Abyss, it's just like very
Mm.
psychologically like impacting. I have to read it.
I mean, I find stuff like gore to be like pretty hard to watch sometimes. It's like,
Mhm.
oh God, like that's just
Yeah.
awful. Like, no.
But then like it happens, you know, in like life, so it's like, oh my god. Or it can happen.
I think that you're much more of a story-based person. For me, I don't know, I'm kind of a mixture. It's like it can be something totally about gameplay or just about story or like I'm all over the place. Like I don't know if you like visual novelish type stuff, but there's this game called AI Somnium Files and
Ooh.
really cool game that I don't know, maybe you would enjoy. It's sort of visual novelish, but it's more of like an actual game than a visual novel. It's like a mixture kind of. I don't know if you want to hear the plot at all, but
You're playing as Detective Kaname Date on a case of an elusive serial killer in this thrilling sci-fi murder mystery.
and it's called AI
Oh,
because one of his eyes is fake and it's an AI that talks to him, has like a whole personality, all that stuff named Aiba. And so it's like him interacting with her and solving this serial killer case where they're able to bring people to this machine and dive into their dreams and like look into the dreams to see like for clues.
oh wait, it I love like mystery stuff. I was gonna say it looks like Persona, and then it says the character designed by the guy who does the Fire Emblem series and No More Heroes.
It has one of the craziest stories, in my opinion, in games. I think it's one of the best game stories I've ever seen. And the characters are all great.
Oh,
The dialogue's all fun. Entire time I thought it was amazing.
I'm swayed by like plot and story
Mhm.
a
It's
lot.
It's
So
pure
yeah.
like good story essentially, and it's one of those games where you have a bunch of different routes. I don't know if you know like 999. So you'll do
Oh.
one route and then you'll make a different choice and go down totally different route, and like everything's completely different. You're like, wait, what?
I think I like stuff that's like linear, but yeah, it's because I like to explore everything. So like having to go down route, like
Yeah,
I hate
I
having to
understand that.
choose. But yeah, I'm definitely like a person of plot. Like not gonna lie, when you mentioned like smut tag, if it has like tags or stuff that I'm interested in, I'm more than happy to hear
Oh,
out the
and
plot.
that's one of them. Oh, okay.
Well, no. It was an example that I used. If the tag catches my attention and then the plot does as well, I'm more likely to read it.
Oh, just real quick, do you actually read books or is it more like manga? What are you thinking?
Actually, this year for my New Year's resolution, I want to read books. I
Oh, wow.
recently bought a book. This is like a book that was required for some people, but wasn't for me. It's called Catcher in the Rye.
Oh God, you're gonna read that? Oh my,
Wait,
reading like
yeah,
high
I
school education books for free time.
wait. No, it's because okay, so it's like there were so many books I wanted to read, but then like out of high school, I became really busy. I just remember always wanting to read that. And then actually a new book series that came out because I was on book TikTok. It's called Book Talk. The book is called Onyx Storm.
I don't think I've heard of it.
It's the Empyrean series. I don't know what it's about, but I've been seeing it all over my feed. So I want to
Hmm,
read that as well.
interesting. Yeah, I guess when
Yeah.
I say books, I guess I more mean light novels because I'm a nerd.
Oh,
But like I used to read a lot of books, right? Like that.
yeah,
But then,
yeah,
I'm mostly about like manga and light novels and stuff
yeah,
now.
yeah.
But
I think when people like out once you because like high school you're forced to read these books, but then outside of it, you have like free reign, you know. And honestly, like I've read a lot of mangas and like when I say light novels, I think of like one shot. Not gonna lie. So I don't
okay.
really know what, like
Well, light novels, I mean, it's essentially a book. I mean, but
yeah.
like I guess sort of more anime-ish story.
Yeah. So like when you said books, I was thinking like physical copy of a book. But yeah, this year I'm determined to read more books. You know what? What is your New Year's resolution?
I kind of just didn't make one because I never do it anyways.
Hmm.
I guess my New Year's resolution was to I want to try eating better and being healthier. But I'm gonna be real. I think 2.0 already made me fail that.
No, bro. It's I don't know if you celebrate Lunar New Year's, but it's a new year, so
I
you can
don't.
now
I'm
start.
screwed.
Oh, wait, you wished
It's
it back to me.
over.
So in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe you do
No,
celebrate it.
no, I don't. But anyone, if someone says
Oh,
Merry Christmas, you don't celebrate it still.
that's
Whatever.
I just couldn't. I just didn't want to assume. But yeah, hey, you know what? Then we can work on it together. Because I remember at TwitchCon you kept talking about Costco, and I was like, man, I really need to hop on Costco.
Oh God, I'm a Costco shill. It's insane. It's just the
Yeah,
best prices for
you're.
everything.
We have the streamer diet, where we eat once a day, but like sometimes it's barely a meal.
I'm trying to eat at least minimum 2 times a day, if not more.
What are those like drinks called? Where it's like the nutritional drinks.
Oh, like a
Um,
protein shake kind of thing or
yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
like yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I
Soylent.
oh no, I don't really have any of that. Maybe I should though.
I have Soylent with me because I was
Oh
like I
my
need to start.
God.
Wait, no, we I feel like when you're talking about like streamer diet and stuff, at one point I was legitimately like my hair was thinning, and chat always jokes about, oh my god, like you're
Going
bald,
bald?
you're bald.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm actually going bald. Like I bought
Oh,
hair care products.
same. I literally I was eating so badly that like a prisoner's diet that I actually had my hair thinning, yeah. So then I've been eating more.
Yeah, I bought like Nutrafol. I had minoxidil. I'm like for real trying to reverse this balding that I'm going
Is it
through because
working?
I keep playing it. It's working. It is. I need Rogaine to sponsor me.
Rogaine?
Is it Keeps? I think it's Rogaine. Yeah, Rogaine, please
Yeah,
sponsor me.
but you need Rogaine at like you were not old enough for Rogaine. Like
Hey, I learned that in this day and age, you're never too young to have Rogaine. Now I don't know the side effects, but I think my hair would be looking a little bit better than it was in the past.
Oh, well, that's good.
Now I can just message you about like what meals I'm eating, hold each other accountable, hold myself
Yeah,
accountable, I guess.
I'm trying to eat some eggs. I gotta polish off a pizza before I
Hey,
start
you know
eating
what?
healthier though. Make some eggs. Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, consuming anything for me is better than nothing.
Oh, exactly. Just make sure you eat something. You
Yeah,
have to.
streamer diet, man. I used to like after stream, if I was hungry, I would just go to bed because I'd be too tired.
Me too. Yeah. If I was hungry, I'd be like, I'll just go to sleep and then, I won't be hungry.
Exactly, and then you wake up, you kind of feel like But then you're like, you know what? Now, I feel a little bit better.
Yeah, you know
Kind
what's
of.
funny about it too is that's what people do when they're like desperately poor. Is it's like I can't afford to eat, I'll just go to sleep.
ブヌが殺せと言ったんじゃ。
じゃあ寝放題じゃねえか。
And we just live like that as streamers. We just live a destitute, like no food, like unhealthy life.
Yeah, streamers making bad decisions.
Trying to turn it around a little bit, but it's been slow.
It's okay. I think this is like where I'm so optimistic. A step is better than no step.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself, because I'm like, you know what? At least I had water, like a cup of water today.
Oh my god.
Better than none.
Yeah, do you ever do it where you just don't drink anything for a while?
Yeah. We're like exposing ourselves, bro. I feel so bad.
Yeah, I'll like finish my water and then I'm streaming for like 7 hours after or something, and then I'm like, oh, I should
Dude,
drink.
yeah,
It's like, wow, you and I have the same exact problems with this kind of stuff.
Bro.
Jeez.
And then after like you stand up from your chair, you feel like so lightheaded. And you feel
Okay,
like
that doesn't
sick.
happen to me. Okay,
Oh.
that doesn't.
Oh. Okay, well,
That's
you know
a you
what?
problem. We're not that similar, okay?
I'm also like anemic, so yeah.
Yeah, you're also like 3 feet tall, so like all the
Yo,
blood,
hold
like the
up,
way
whoa,
that the
whoa, whoa.
oxygen works.
All right, guys, and that concludes of today's episode.
Wait,
Don't ignore what he just said. Now, we've been going on for a little bit. Now I really appreciate talking. To end this
No, it's been
off,
great.
I wanted to ask, what are your top 3 waifus in NIKKE? I feel like I should always ask people their top 3 waifus.
Ooh, top specifically NIKKE or just?
Oh, you know what? Top 3 waifus in general. I want to see if you have like any like hot anime takes or like gacha characters.
I don't think
take,
I do.
You know?
I mean, out of anything, it's so hard to say. I mean, if we
Like-
talk about some of the OGs, like it would be like Rin Tosaka, who I bet Fob said.
Oh.
Like C2 from like Code Geass or something.
Yeah, I made him choose one waifu. So he said he's a Cinderella from NIKKE.
Really? I can't believe.
Yeah, something.
Okay, if we're talking NIKKE, Maid Privity, Naga with the New Year's skin specifically. Okay,
yep,
let's not get and Scarlet Black Shadow.
Good one. Now, what about like anime?
Yeah, for anime, I would be like Rin Tosaka, C2. Can't even think of off the top of my head. It's kind of difficult. Like who?
I was like, whenever I think of like a hot anime take, I think of. Have you seen Rent a Girlfriend?
No, but I know about it.
Yeah, I would be like, you said like Mommy Chan. That's a hot take
wow.
to a lot of people.
Do you know the next season's gonna come out? Do you know the big thing from that?
No, what happened?
It's pretty
Does
famous.
he get? Wait, why? Hey, yo,
The-
spoiler alert. Okay, spoil.
I think everybody knows this. The main character, who everybody hates, he's in a pool and he imagines his girlfriend getting NTR'd. It's not even happening. He imagines it and then he in the pool and cries.
Oh wait! Oh my god! I
It's so
remember there's a
famous.
wait. What chapter is it? Because I remember
don't
my
know.
chat. I feel like it's like 165 or something. I don't remember. It was like a 3-digit. Maybe I don't know. But my chat told me to read it, and I remember hot tub. But I don't remember the second part. Oh my god! Are they gonna animate that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's supposed to be what happens the next season. So everyone's really hyped.
The MC is what makes it so hard for me to watch.
Everybody
because
hates
there's-
him. I refuse to watch it. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm speechless. Like
That
NTR 's
derailed
a tag.
everything. She can't even think anymore. She's like, why?
NTR is like one thing, but I guess like seeing it like in the manga from perspective of the MC and like knowing what the MC is like, that like changes a lot of things. I'm baffled. That's what the word is. Like
Yeah.
I thought the hot tub was like him imagining. I don't remember him like exploding in the pool, and that's where I'm
Yeah.
like, did I just block that out of my brain, or did I just not
don't
get that
know.
far?
Yeah, maybe you just automatically are blocking these things. I don't know, but
Yo, this is why I guess it makes life like a nice experience. It's like a simulation thing where I just relive life once again because I can't remember what happened.
well, that's very optimistic. But yeah, sorry I don't have any hot take for the end. But
No, it's okay. I've really enjoyed listening to everything you said, Jenaz. We
Oh,
talked
thanks.
about
yeah, it was
a lot
fun
of
talking
things.
with you.
Yeah, when we first met, you were so talkative, and it was like
I
really
was also
easy.
yeah, and then I was drunk at like the party and
Hey, but you know what? At the party, you were Costco shill. Like
Was I?
you were so passionate about these dumplings from Costco, and
True.
it's like funny because when people are drunk, they have like stuff they usually talk about. I think for you, it's Costco. Straight up, you were so passionate.
Hey, I helped
I was pulling
introduce you. To
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's an easy meal to eat. Yeah, like, I was literally pulling up the dumplings on my phone because I remember you were talking about it.
Well, I think I
at the
said that
parties.
because you were talking about like not eating and stuff. So I was like, oh, you get this.
You know what? Yeah, streamer diet. It don't change. I think everyone lives the same.
Break the cycle.
At one point, Poke talked about like he literally just had gamer subs for breakfast, and I was like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And
I've
that's
had a
that.
bunch overall. You know, just throughout time, I've had a bunch of gamer subs.
Oh my gosh, I feel like my body is like eating itself if I don't.
Yeah,
eat anything
you shouldn't
else
do
after
it. You
gamer
might just you shouldn't eat gamer sub. That's not how that works. That's not what you do.
No, I'm consuming it, but then it's like all the caffeine content just feels like it's sucking up my soul. It's really good though, you know. Use code Rubee, use code Jenaz, maybe. I don't know if you have a code.
Jenazad.
Yeah, for 10% off gamer subs.
The
you
hashtag
guys.
ad sponsored stream suddenly.
No, I just had to throw it in, you know, we're trying to get our own waifu cup, right?
True.
No, I really enjoyed talking to you about a lot of things. I feel like
Yeah,
we
it's
talked
fun.
about anime variety. It was a nice pace, you know. There's a bunch that we had covered. Is there anything else you would like to say to the audience?
I pretty much talked about a lot of stuff. Thanks a bunch for having me on. I had a good time, and I just love talking about things that me or the other person likes. It's just I have fun talking about anything really. So thanks for having me on. I had a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah, of course. I thanks for coming on here as well. And of course, you guys, please go check out Jenaz. His socials will be in the link. Let us know your hot anime takes.
I'll judge them.
What should we ask them? Like, we gotta ask them something, Jenaz. Talk.
Okay. The audience's diet. How many calories do you eat a day?
What about like games, gacha anime?
What is an underrated gacha game you think everyone
Hey.
should play?
But yeah, what is one gacha game underrated that you would suggest to everyone? All right, thank you, Jess, for being on here. Everyone, check him out once again. Have a lovely, wonderful day, you guys. Bye bye. Thank you for watching. Gotta say bye and wave.
Bye.
Okay, I can't see you, so I had to make sure. Oh, no!